Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really massive shift in how we interact with information. We're talking about moving away from the chaotic, messy world of manual web browsing and stepping into these sleek, highly automated, intelligent systems. Honestly, you need to think a lot less about pulling static web pages and way more about deploying autonomous agents. We're moving from standard search to agentic AI. And make no mistake, this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. This is a massive operational shift happening right now in top enterprises, and it's going to completely change how you work on a daily basis. Let me ask you something right out of the gate, and I want you to be completely honest here. Are you still manually hunting for answers across like 20 different browser tabs? You know exactly the feeling I'm talking about. Clicking, skimming, closing, opening, losing your place entirely, and just trying to mentally stitch together scattered fragments of data in your head. It's a frantic, super high-friction way to work, and frankly, it just drains the energy right out of you.
I mean, just think about that number for a second. 20. That perfectly represents the relatable, everyday friction we all deal with. Having 20 tabs open just to compare a few enterprise software products, or desperately trying to track down one specific metric hidden deep inside 5 different annual reports. Maybe you're cross-referencing a dozen flight routes and hotel reviews. It's exhausting. It's highly prone to error, and honestly, it's a terrible use of human intelligence when a system could literally just do it for you.
We call this chaotic, old-world experience the link economy. It's a totally outdated model of web browsing characterized by high friction, ad-bloated sites, paywalls, and endless SEO-optimized fluff. In the link economy, a search engine is just a gateway. It throws you into this massive sea of independent sites and basically tells you to fend for yourself. You do all the parsing, the reading, the synthesizing. But here's the really good news. This whole manual process of scraping information with your own eyeballs, it is rapidly dying out.
Act 2. Welcome to the answer economy.
So take a breath, because we are finally transitioning out of that frantic chaos and moving into the calm, organized, glowing node networks of a totally new era. We're leaving the gateway behind and entering the reservoir. The core shift here is moving from passive retrieval to active execution. In the past, we were so passive. Google just pointed you to where the information lived and left all the heavy lifting up to you. But now we're moving to an active state. An agentic pipeline doesn't just point, it retrieves the data, transforms it, and integrates it directly into your destination environment for you. Let's put these two worlds side by side so we can fully grasp the magnitude of this upgrade. Standard search relies on a keyword matching directory of static web pages. You type a word, it finds pages with that word. It's essentially just a static map. Agentic AI, on the other hand, relies on dynamic reasoning, multi-step execution, and real-time synthesis. So instead of just handing you a map, it acts as an active engine on your behalf. It actually reads the pages, summarizes the core arguments, and generates a highly customized answer to your exact prompt right in real time.
But what does this actually mean for your daily life? Well, this is where it gets incredibly empowering. You are essentially getting a promotion. You're graduating from being a manual analyst, doing all the clicking, parsing, and comparing across isolated tabs, to being a high-level orchestrator. You set the parameters, you define the goals, and you simply review the clean outputs. You manage the system. You don't do the busy work anymore. Your brain power is finally reserved for making actual decisions based on the data, rather than exhausting yourself just trying to locate it.
So how does this sleek new pipeline actually work? It moves in 3 distinct steps. Step 1, you define your task goal. Step 2, the system kicks off multi-hop RAG, or retrieval augmented generation. What that means in plain English is that the AI isn't just doing one single search. It reads a document, realizes it needs a bit more context, automatically executes a second search based on that new information, and synthesizes it all, acting exactly like a human researcher would. And finally, step 3, it delivers a unified, actionable output. It is a continuous, automated flow that replaces hours of manual labor.
Now think about your workflow right now. Does your search engine remember what you researched just 10 minutes ago? Of course not. Traditional search engines suffer from this incredibly frustrating amnesia. Every single time you hit enter, you're starting completely from scratch. There is zero overarching context of what you're actually trying to achieve, or how this query relates to the one you ran 2 minutes ago.
An agentic reservoir fixes this entirely. That zero cross-query memory of the past is completely replaced by continuous memory and high-state awareness. An agentic system actually maintains your custom schemas, it remembers your API inputs, and it understands your broader operational framework across multiple tasks. It actually maintains the state of your project. That means it remembers the overarching context week over week, so you never have to re-explain the premise or start from zero ever again. Act 3.
the new rulebook. When to use which.
Now let's be very clear here. We aren't tossing standard search entirely out the window. We're simply recontextualizing exactly when to use which tool to maximize your efficiency. You should still absolutely rely on Google Search for certain things. Because of its incredibly low latency and massive index, it is still a perfect single-hop utility for hyper-specific real-time facts. We're talking checking immediate sports scores, stock movements, or if your flight is delayed. It's also great for simple local navigation, finding a nearby physical address, or discovering a brand new, niche independent site for the very first time.
But you shift to the heavy lifting of an agentic AI reservoir for deep research and synthesis. Imagine processing dozens of market reports or highly technical API docs simultaneously without swapping a single tab. You also shift to agents for structured data operations, meaning pulling messy web content into clean JSON arrays or CSVs, which are basically just neat spreadsheets and developer-ready data. And it is absolutely perfect for continuous monitoring. You can set background tasks to auto-generate digests based on regulatory triggers or execute really complex multi-step workflows. To sum up this massive upgrade in your workflow potential, with standard search, your result is messy. It's a generic list of links and summaries, and your workflow heavily relies on manual copy-pasting. It's tiring and it's outdated. But with Agentic AI, your result is a clean, structured payload and a finished task. The workflow becomes this brilliant automated pipeline. It fetches the data, cleans it, compares it, drafts a response, and then simply pings you when the job is done.
Act 4. Building your hybrid strategy. So how do we actually architect a cohesive system that bridges both of these worlds into a seamless, highly functional data stream? Well, the optimal modern stack isn't about picking one over the other. It's a hybrid. It utilizes AI agents, leveraging deep RAG or vector search, which is really just a way of connecting concepts by their actual meaning and context, rather than just exact keyword matches. But crucially, this stack has direct, live web indexing capabilities baked right into its decision loop. The agent can literally reach out to the live web autonomously anytime it needs to fill a knowledge gap.
This brings us to a really crucial mindset shift. Use search as a data feed, not a destination. You have to treat search engines as raw data plumbing. They are pipelines that feed directly into your AI models via specialized APIs like Firecrawl or Tavily. The search engine is no longer a destination where you spend time endlessly scrolling through blue links. It's just a utility pipe feeding your intelligent systems.
To make this hyper-effective, you absolutely must establish an owned knowledge layer. You do this by connecting your active workflows, integrating your internal documentation, consolidating operational data, and building a central RAG system. Grounding your AI like this is so important. It prevents AI hallucinations and ensures that whatever wild web insights your agents pull in immediately anchor themselves in your specific business context and proprietary enterprise reality, rather than just pulling in random internet noise.
And look, enterprise organizations are already making this shift at a rapid pace. We're seeing a huge transition away from static RAG pipelines toward multi-step agentic architectures driven by MCP, the Model Context Protocol. This protocol is basically the universal standard that allows these AI agents to securely talk to your local files and business tools. Forrester Analysis actually put out clear benchmarking metrics detailing exactly how top-tier businesses are heavily investing in and upgrading to these semi-autonomous workflows right now.
Which brings us to our final thought. I want you to look at your own screens, look at your own daily routines, and really ask yourself, how much of your day is spent being a manual analyst, endlessly clicking, skimming, and pasting, rather than an empowered orchestrator? The technology to change this is already here. It's time to step out of the exhausting link economy, build your own agentic hive, and let the reservoir do the heavy lifting for you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.